here's the Democrats' plan. Take the 13 million plus illegals who are here, taking jobs from Americans, taking wages down, taking health care benefits, and bring them here legally so that they can continue to drive down wages, flood the labor force, and suppress
Senator
all of
Hawley,
the above.
they can't flood the labor force if they're already part of the labor force, which is
They are flooding the labor force now. That's what's happening now.
I want to read you what you said. Make sure I'm accurate. Here's what you said. President Trump is not like any sane leader.
Senator, I am happy to discuss my personal perspectives with you separately at any time. That's not the purpose of the hearing today.
You think you're smarter than the American people, don't you?
Absolutely not, Senator. I am here to discuss the use of the military as part of this mass deportation.
A Senate hearing on President-elect Trump's plan to deport millions of illegal immigrants turned heated yesterday. My next guest was there, Senator John Kennedy, Republican of Louisiana. And, sir, the New York Times this morning has this headline: recent immigration surge has been largest in U.S. history. Under President Biden, more than 2 million immigrants per year have entered, government data shows. And if you read into the article, it says it's the most since something in the 1800s. I can't remember the exact year. So President-elect Trump said he was going to do mass deportations. The voters decided he should be the president, and that is going forward. So at the hearing yesterday, what were you trying to get at? What was the answer you were looking for?
I was hoping to see some sanity. I didn't. It was a Democratic hearing, Dana. Senator Durbin called the hearing, so there were mostly Democratic witnesses. As best I can tell, most of the Democratic witnesses, they majored in online activism with a minor in puberty blockers. They were all from the moonbeam wing of the Democratic Party. They all believe in open borders. They all believe that vetting people at the border is racist. Most Americans don't. And they all see allowing people to come into our country illegally and stay through a political lens. They think that it will mean more votes for them. It's a very cynical way to run government.
What was the issue in regards to what the General Manor was talking about in terms of utilizing the military? Was Senator Durbin basically putting the witness there to say that that should not happen?
Yeah, well, the scenario that Senator Durbin is trying to promote is that President Trump is going to call out all of our troops, including bringing troops from overseas, and implement on day one a mass deportation. It's a huge overstatement. Now, President Trump is going to enforce the law, and the law says very clearly that illegal immigration is illegal. Duh. And he's going to enforce the law, and I think most Americans want him to. But these activists, they just don't believe in having a border. They just don't. They think that you're a racist if you believe in enforcing the border laws.
Victims also got a say yesterday. Patty Morin is the mother of the late Rachel Morin, who was killed by an illegal immigrant. Watch her here.
I think deportation is necessary. The American people should not feel afraid to live in their own homes. You should put American citizens first. We are the ones that pay your paycheck. We are the ones that pay taxes.
So Patty Morin, of course, somebody that we always want to pay attention to. While I have you, can I ask you about this one other issue? I read this article twice because I thought it was a little hard to understand. But President Biden is vowing to veto a bill that would expand U.S. judiciary after Trump's win. And this is what the White House statement said, is that the bill would create new judgeships in states where senators have sought to hold open existing judicial vacancies. Those efforts to hold open vacancies suggest that concerns about judicial economy and caseload are not the true motivating force behind passage of this bill now. What is happening?
For 4 years, I've watched President Biden push on a door that's clearly marked pull. This is just another example of his administration's soul-crushing incompetence. We need more federal judges. It's very expensive to litigate. When your case takes 4 years to go to court, it becomes 2 and 3 times as expensive. It's a bipartisan bill, but President Biden and his team don't want to allow it to become law simply because a Republican administration would get to appoint some of the judges. It's the last spasm of a lame duck. It's a very cynical spasm by the president and his people. I wish they wouldn't do it. I wish they'd put the country first, but I think it's going to happen. And I wouldn't bet you a soda and a nice cap that they're going to back down, unfortunately.
I think that's probably right, but they will also complain about the backlog of cases as well and try to somehow blame it on Republicans. Senator Kennedy, thank you. Go have a good day and keep us posted.
Dana?
Yeah.
Dana?
Yep.
I hope you're getting some work out of Hemmer.
He's working.
Okay, just watch him like a hawk, okay?
You got it, Santa. Right here.
Thanks, Senator.
Nicely done. Merry Christmas to you, all right? Thank you, Senator.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.